Hi everyone, welcome to New Bear. I'm Monique and today's video was going to be on the woven picot. It's still on the woven picot. I just enhanced it a little. So I was playing with a ring, just an idea I had of how I could demonstrate the technique. And well, one ring kind of became two and two rings kind of became three, and we kind of ended up with a tag-along. If you're not interested in the tag-along, there are timestamps down below. You can just skip straight through to the technique itself. Now I use other techniques in today's video which I don't explain in detail, and that is because they already have their own separate video. There are links down below for anybody who needs a little bit of extra help with these. Now I start round two a little bit differently to how we normally would. That's because of how my threads sit at the base of my ring. Now don't worry, I go into much better detail in the video itself. But I'm mentioning this now so that you can have a look at the two samples and see which way you'd like to make your motif, whether you want to make it as sample 1 or sample 2. This is the combination you'll get if you work the pattern without the shoelace trick, and you'll get this combo if you do use the shoelace trick. Righto, let's go and meet Josie.
I want to just quickly talk about how picots are counted. I realise most of you will probably know this, but there may be some who don't. Rounds 1 and 2 are drawn in different colours to make it easier for you to follow. Throughout the pattern you're told to join back to picot 1, picot 2, etc. Rings are worked in a clockwise direction. Picots are counted in the order that they're worked. We're counting long picots, not joining picots. So the long picots in ring A are counted as 1, 2 and 3. Continuing in a clockwise direction for ring C, our picots are 1, 2 and 3. When our work is facing us and we want to join ring A from round 2 to ring C in round 1, we're going to join to the third picot first. We still count 1, 2, 3, because this is the first picot we made when we worked ring C. Don't count 1, 2 and 3. It's similar when we look at the crossover picots on our chains. Working the chain from ring A to ring B, we have picots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Then our crossover picots 7 and 8. As we begin our second chain, we haven't crossed our picots yet. So the first picot you come to is actually picot 8 and then 7. Starting round 1, I'm leaving a bit of a tail to tie back to at the end. Ring A starts with 2 adjoining picot and 10. I'm putting magic loops in, so there'll be a detailed video on how to do this if you want help with it. The link for that is in the description box. We have 3 long picots with a double stitch between each picot. Your long picot needs to measure 7/8 of an inch when it's open. We finish ring A with 10 adjoining picot and 2. Turn your work slightly to the left. Start ring B with 2, join back to ring A. And work 10. Work 3 long picots with a double stitch between each picot. Complete ring B with 10, a joining picot and 2. Ring C is the same as ring B. Turn your work slightly to the left. Work 2. Join back to ring B. Continue with a count of 10, 3 long picots with a double stitch between each picot, 10, a joining picot and 2. Ring D is a repeat of what we've just done for rings B and C, except we're joining back to ring A as well. So to start ring D, we're working 2, join back to ring C, work your 10 with your 3 long picots and then 10 on the other side. We have ring A, B and C. We've almost finished ring D. We're ready to join ring D back to ring A. Now I'm going to work a folded join here for anyone who'd like to have a more detailed video. There's a link in the description box for you. We finish out our ring with a count of 2. Cut the tail. We're going to tie our 2 tails together with a square knot. So right over left and left over right. can sew your tails in, but as you can see, I've used magic loops for mine. Trim our tails off.
Taz, what have you got?
So this is what round one should look like. As you can see, I've just gone and cut off the other tail after we were interrupted. So that can now be set aside as we begin round two. Now round two can be worked with a shuttle and ball or two shuttles. You can use continuous thread or two colours. It's completely up to you. I'm going to work with two different colours. I have my pink and my blue, but I'd also like rings A, D, G and J to be the same colour as my chain. For that reason, I'm going to be starting a little bit differently today. You're welcome to do the same, or you can make a normal start. So I'm going to start ring A with a count of 10, and I'm tatting over my tail. We're joining back to the third picot on ring C in round one. So remember, we count 1, 2 and 3. So coming back to this picot here. Being a long picot, it's going to want to pull in as we make our join. So keep that nice and taut while we complete the join. So we've just made a double stitch, join to the second picot, again keep that pulled nice and taut, work a double stitch and join to the first picot. Finish out your ring with a count of 10. Now I've made 4 stitches on the second half of ring A. I'm going to make the first half of the next stitch. Then with my blue thread, I'm going to hang that underneath the pink. I'm going to work the rest of my stitches with double shuttles so that that thread for my chain is being tatted over as I work the rest of my ring. Okay, now I realise this looks like it's the wrong way around. It's not, I promise. So we could have started normally by putting the tail of the ring into the ring as we did, but then the chain tail could have gone into the chain. But if we did that, we'd have the bulk of the tail as well as the shoelace trick at the base of the ring. It doesn't sit very nicely. By putting the tail of the chain into the other side of the ring, not only have we eliminated that tail, but when we reverse our work, we also have our threads the way we want them. My pink thread is on top, blue is below, meaning my chain will be pink like my ring. So there's no need for the shoelace trick just yet. Setting up for our chain, we're going to start with 7. We have picot 2 5 times. Picot 4. A medium picot with 2 and a medium picot with 3. Medium picots need to measure 5/8 of an inch when they're open. Reverse your work. I'm actually going to get rid of my tails before they drive me bonkers. Ring B has 10. We have 3 long picots with a double stitch between each picot. Finish ring B with 8 adjoining picot and 2. Don't reverse your work. Start ring C with 2. Join back to ring B. Continue with 8. Three long picots with a double stitch between each picot, and then 10. Reverse your work and set up for the next chain. Start the chain with 3. Remembering how our picots are numbered, we have 7 and 8. So reach through picot 8, grab 7, pull it through, keeping your hook through picot 7, catch your working thread and make a join. It's just a normal join. Keep your picot taut as you pull your thread down. Our stitch count is 2. Join back to picot 8. Our count is 4. We finish our chain with picot 2 5 times, then a picot with a count of 7. Reversing work, we're ready for ring D. I'm working the shoelace trick to keep my ring the same colour as my chain. So again, you only need to do this if you want your ring the same colour. Ring D starts with 10. We're joining back to the third picot on ring B in round 1. So make sure your motif isn't twisted. Third picot. Work a double stitch, join to the second picot, work a double stitch and join to the first picot. finish the ring with a count of 10. Reversing our work, we're working the shoelace trick again. Set your hand up for a chain, and we're chaining 7. We have picot 2 5 times, picot 4, a medium picot with 2, and a medium picot with 3. Reverse your work. Before starting ring E, we're going to weave the picots from ring C through the B, D picots. It doesn't matter which way we weave these as long as we're consistent. So if the weave order for our first picot is over, under, over, we need to do the same weave all the way around. Don't weave over, under, over here and then weave under, over, under on this one. So whichever order you want to use, we're going to weave our picots through. I'm going to start with one on top, under, over and under. I'm going to grab my picot and pull that through. So my second picot will be the opposite. It's going to go over and then under and over. Make sure your picots aren't twisted. Our third picot is going to go under, over and under. Can be a bit fiddly. So working ring E, we're starting with 10. Join to the third picot on ring C. Work a double stitch, join to the second picot, and work a double stitch, join to the first picot. Finish out the ring with 8, a joining picot and 2. Don't reverse your work. We're setting up for ring F. We're working 2, joining back to ring E, continue with 8, 3 long picots, and then finish out ring F with a count of 10. Reverse your work, ready for the next chain. Continue working your way around the motif, repeating what we just did. Just finished ring F, you'll work your chain. Ring G connects back to the long picots on ring A. Work your chain. Weave the long picots from ring F through the GA picots. Connect to these as you work ring H. Make the long picots as you work ring I, your chain. Ring J connects back to the long picots on ring D. Work your chain. Weave the long picots from ring I through the JD picots. Connect to these as you work ring K. Before you start ring L, weave the long picots from ring B through the CA picots. Connect to these as you work ring L. Reversing our work for the last chain, everything is exactly the same as we've been doing, except we're joining to the base of ring A at the end and hiding our tails. see my stitches have pulled back a little bit here. I've got a little bit of blue showing, so I'm just going to get a needle and try to manipulate those stitches and cover that blue a little bit more. The other thing I'm going to do is go around each of my crossover picots. I'm just going to pull up the top picot of each crossover section. Try and get a nice crossover effect. So pull it up as much or as little as you like until you're happy with how it looks.
And we're done. I hope everyone enjoyed today. I'll see you next time.